Hey, CGverse, Simon here. I'm just kidding. I so wanted to have you guys here. Thanks for getting into this video. Today we're gonna be taking a look at making a table in Blender. This is gonna be a three-part tutorial series. This is gonna be the first one. And yeah, first we're gonna start modeling, then shading, and then we're gonna talk about rendering. So this is a beginner tutorial, a beginner series for those of you that are new to Blender. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, once you download Blender from the blender.org, you will see that there it is. Blender 2.92 is out. So right now, as I'm recording this is 2.92. So you just download it. And it's really simple. And it's free. That's the best thing. And I am running, I think it's 2.91.2. Okay, so this works in like any type of Blender actually. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. That's so cringe. So ignore what I do. I'm just turning on screencast key so that you can see whatever I click down here. So this is a camera, of course. This is a light, and we're just gonna go ahead and delete that. So first hotkey you're gonna learn is X. X is to delete. So X, and just left click, click, left click, or X and left click. Okay. Now this is a viewport, so not the whole thing, only this. I'm gonna be showing it on screen right now. And this is a cube. Okay, we'll see more about these later. Zoom in with just the scroll wheel. Right click to bring up the menu, and if you press scroll wheel and you move, you're gonna pan around the origin, or not the origin, whatever you're pointing at. So now you just scroll in. Now you're master at moving. Let's get to modeling. So it's gonna be really easy. No worries. So select it with a left click and G, second hotkey, that is to move. So grab and move it up. So just point it right up. But as you can see, or you may not see, once we move it, it's supposed to go straight up. But why isn't it going straight up? Because you need to constrain it to one axis. So how do you do this? You hit G and then Z to constrain it on the Z axis and just move it up a bit. And if you haven't done anything to the cube yet, you can hit GZ1 and it's gonna move it straight into the center of the origin. But this is way too big. If we hit N, we see the dimensions of this thing, and this is 2 meters by 2 meters by 2 meters, so that's quite big. What we need to do here is change the x-axis to 1 meter, the y-axis to 1.5, and the z-axis to 10 centimeters. And now we have a real size thing. All right, it's not too exaggerated. Now it's floating in the air, or floating on top of the cursor. And why is this? Because we have to lower it. So how do we do this? G, Z, you could do that, but yeah, it's not really good. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna tab into edit mode. How do you do this? So edit mode is like where you edit any object. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna go up here and you can hit edit mode here, and it's the same thing, but like as I like to do it, you can just hit tab on a selected object and it works. Okay, so now we're gonna go press 3 in the number pad, and this is gonna change to face mode. So now if you hit 3, it's also up here. This is 1, this is vertex mode, so you can grab individual vertices. 2 is edge mode, and 3 is face mode. So now once we've done this, you want to select the lower face and Shift S. That's just another short key. and you can see loads of stuff up here. So we want to go to cursor to selected. So the cursor is this thing, okay? So just click cursor to selected, and the cursor will automatically snap to the lower face that you selected down here. And now you can go ahead and right click on the object, set origin, and origin to 3D cursor. And now the origin, which is like the center of it, if you rotate it with R, it spins around, okay, around the origin. So everything scales, everything rotates around the origin. So if I move this over here, for example, and I set the origin to the 3D cursor, now you're gonna see that it's rotating right up around there, and it's gonna scale onto there. Okay, so just a reminder. And now you can hit Shift S, cursor to world origin, and just leave it. And the cube, you want to grab it. Not grab it. Right click, set origin. Or no, actually, I'm sorry. Shift S again, and selection to cursor. And now this is gonna snap. Okay, so that's excellent. So now this is a tabletop. So now we need to model the legs. It's really easy. Type into edit mode with tab. And with shift right click, you can drag and lead the cursor somewhere. Okay, so the cursor is also going to be where things spawn in. Okay, so if you bring new stuff, it's going to spawn in the 3D cursor. So in edit mode, shift A, cube, and it's right now you can see that, whoa, what's this? Well, you just scale it down with S and move your cursor to the, or your mouse to the cursor. There you go. Now you can see it. It's a cube. And how do you get into this mode? Oh, you're asking me. Well, this is basically just an orthographic view, which means no perspective. You can, over here, you can move, you can drag this as well, but it's really dull. So you can just select each one of these, and it's gonna take you to the to that view. So right in the from the side. But you can also, if you're in a PC or you have custom short keys, you can go and hit the numbers on the number pad, and that's going to take you to certain views. Or you can hold Alt and drag with your scroll wheel, and that's just going to put you to the views that you're supposed to go in. So scale this down a bit more. You can also hit N and bring up the dimensions for this. Or no, actually you can't, because you're in edit mode. Not edit mode, but it's the same object as this. So because we brought in the cube in edit mode, then these two are the same object, okay? If we hadn't, they would be different. But now we can hit G and move it down maybe, or just move it where you want your cube to go. If you press Z and hold Z and you drag it to where it says wireframe and let go, you're gonna get into wireframe. So this is just basically the outline of the object. Now you can just drag it down, tab out of edit mode, Z, solid view, and now you can go into this view and line it up like that. If you ever click away and you can't click it again, you need to you can press 3, I like to press 3, and then L, which is local, you just press L on the cube. You can also do it on this, but be sure that when you press L, it'll select both. Oh shit. Whoa, the light just fell. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I saved you guys. The light was about to fall on you guys. So L on the cube and G and X to constrain it on the X-axis, because we need to constrain it because we've already set the location for the Y-axis. So now we need to move it only on the X-axis, okay? So X-axis is the red and Y is yellow or green, and blue is Z. And now we need to copy it for all the legs, but I'm saying, oh, that sucks. Yeah, I know it sucks, but we're gonna do one last thing before we do that. And if you want, you're gonna hit Shift S and cursor to world origin. It's gonna snap it right back there. 3, and select the lower face of the leg and drag it down a bit. You can also do this right here. You can always change this in the future, so you don't have to be worried about if you're gonna get it right the first time. And I'm gonna hit L again, and I'm just gonna move it this way because I just realized that that's how we did the other side. So now we could just go ahead and copy each, but I don't want to do that. I'm lazy and I don't want to do that, and I am in a computer, so I guess that the computer can do it for me, right? Yes, it can. Well, if you go into edit mode, we're gonna add loop cuts. Okay, so a loop cut is basically a cut. Okay, so you can cut it, and then you have cuts. So more cuts. Okay, so but I want a short key, and of course there's a short key. There's the short key for everything. So Control R and drag your mouse over the mesh, and you're gonna see like two lines, a yellow one and a yellow one from in the Y and the X-axis. So basically, it's just cutting along the middle. So we wanna select the X-axis, so across the shortest path, and left click, and you're gonna see that it starts to move. But we want it dead center, so we're gonna right click to cancel its movement, right? And there you go, we have a cut. Great. Now we're going to do the same thing for the Y. So Control R and Y. There you go. So now you can left click and right click to cancel the movement. Now we need to go into wireframe. So Z wireframe. You can also go just tap Z and then click the wireframe. Okay. I like to just hold it. It's easier. So now we're gonna box select. So you can do this three ways. C to you can scale the circle by if you scale it up, you can select everything. If you scale it down, you're gonna select less. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to hit B, and you can see like the things appear. You just drag them and select them. I like to just drag and select. It's way easier. And we're gonna do that. And now we need to select these two. So let's just go ahead there. But the other thing is cancel that. So how do we select the multiple objects at the same time? Well, we hold shift. So how? So with these four selected, shift box select, and as you see, they're all gonna select. So now you can hit X to delete them, but this whole another menu shows up. It's just asking us what we want to delete, so you're just gonna hit vertices because they're vertices. And now if you go out of edit mode, Z solid mode, you're gonna see that we have a quarter of the table, which is great because now we can add it back procedurally or modifierly. If you go into this wrench, you're gonna add a modifier. So add a modifier, and under generate, go lower, mirror it. Yay! It's basically a mirror, but we're still missing the half. So you just press Y and X. So here, it's basically saying on which axis should I mirror it? The Z-axis, which no, the Y, yes, and the X. Excellent. And now we have this table. But when we go into edit mode, we can see that I can only select a quarter of it, and that's great because we don't need to select the other side, because when we grab this and we grab it, it's mirrored on all the axes that we selected over here. You see, so we don't need to do stuff over and over again. It's just gonna do it for us. Now we're gonna be prepared to add more loop cuts. So tab into edit mode, Control R, and now there's just one, but we want many because we want smaller cuts. So scroll down, and you're gonna see many. Just hit OK somewhere like this, and now do it again, but on the other side, the Y. So now we're trying to make squares. So I think there's good. Yeah. So now we have many vertices, and now if I wanted to, I could use the C tool to grab more, but we don't want to. So what we need to do is we need to select faces. So you could go individually with shift and select all of these faces, and you can do all the way until here, but we don't want to do that. We want to make it easier for us. So go into 3. This is just face select, and now we're going to count 3 out from each edge. So 1 2 3 here, and then 1 2 3, so here. So now we select this and shift control this. We could also just select this and go like 1 2 3, but that's way too hard. It's gonna just complicate everything. So we just select the first one, and shift control is gonna pick the shortest path. So there you go. And now we need to do the same for this side, so just shift control and click that one. Perfect. Okay, so now we can just E to extrude. You can extrude out or in. So we're gonna extrude in, and the way we do that is with E and then Z, or if you no, don't press Z if you E, because when you hit E, it automatically snaps to the normal, which is basically the axis based on the faces from the mesh. So you Z and drag down with shift. So hold shift and it's gonna move it slower, and it's gonna allow you to make more precise movements. Great. And now let's just do the same for this side, but they already have the cuts because we did it for this side and this side. So Control R and just make boxes or rectangles, and right click, left click and right click to offset. Okay, now 3 and select one of these faces and just drag it right out, and shift control click. And now let's do the same for this. Select this one, they have to match, and shift control this one. Perfect. Now we have to hit E, but it like moves weird, and it's all good because we can hit a right click to extrude it but leave it where it is. And now if we hit Alt S, which is scaling along normals, it's gonna scale down, so we need to move it down. Perfect. Okay, you might get this, which is like a bit hard. You can try scaling down normally, but I think that's worse. So we're just gonna hit maybe yeah, this is the best bet. Okay, now if you want, you can just move it back and forth, try to get it perfect. This is not perfect, it's never gonna be perfect. One more thing, tap out of edit mode, command S, and it's gonna pop up this big menu over here. It's just gonna pop this up. You just select an output path, buildings, table, part 1, and save as. And then you just hit Shift S, and because you already save it to an output, all the time it's gonna just save to the same output. Okay, so now I notice I can't see it very well. Like the edges aren't very marked, and that's okay because we can go up here to this menu and select it, and it's gonna bring this up. So we just hit cavity, check it, and instantly we see way better. But we can make it better. We can type from it's set to screen and set it to both. Now you can just pump these up to like 1.8 or something, both of them. And shadow, you can turn that on. I don't like it very much because it just creates disturbance. Anyway, now we can see that these faces are right here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and delete them. So 3, tab in edit mode, and X, and instead of vertices, delete faces, and just do the same. Oh, how am I moving? I'm sorry. You can move like this, but if you select shift and move like that, it's gonna move. It's gonna like move instead of pan, you know. So just go ahead and do that for these two again. X faces. And look at that. Our table is, oh, I forgot this one. Our table is nearly finished. Wait a minute. Oh, look at it separated. So let's just Control Z to undo that. And okay. So basically what's happening here is that the mirror modifier is mirroring, but this edge isn't touching with this edge. So if you can just drag it in, or you can delete this face, and now you can hit 2 or 1 actually. No, 2 is okay. And then you just grab on the Z axis and just put them. Perfect. Maybe it happened here too. No, this is fine. Okay, excellent. Now we need to make like the supports, the triangles, and this is gonna add a really good touch to our table because it's gonna look way better. So remember, just drag the cursor right here, Shift A, in edit mode. Remember, so Shift A, cube, and scale it down because it's way too big. with this, and scale it down to like 2 or 1.5 boxes from the before. Now Z to adjust it on the Z axis, and now you can go into wireframe by selecting Z wireframe, and ooh, look at that. What is this? This is a new mode. You just over here you select it. How do you do this? So what? W. Okay. So if you press W over here, you can see it's gonna start changing. So this is just basically how you want to select objects. So you can, there's this, and there's this. You can just select it and drag it. It's not really efficient. W, I like to keep it in box select because it's way easier. So X, I mean, not, don't delete. If you did delete though, you could just Control Z to undo, and I just grab it on the Y axis and Z axis, and it's more like a 45-degree angle. That's good. And as you can see, back in solid mode, they've all got these legs, but they're not in the right place. So 3 to go into face select, and L over the leg, and Z into wireframe, and G and X to drag it along. Perfect. Now we need to duplicate this to make it this side. So duplicate, Shift D, drag it, and enter and click it. So rotate on the Z axis 90 degrees. And sure, it rotated, but it's on the wrong side. So negative and enter. If you hit negative, it's just gonna negative Z. And we are done. We are done for this tutorial. Oh, no, not yet. We still have to move it around. So 3L over the new one, and GZ. I'm gonna go into wireframe, and there you go. So that is it for this tutorial. I really hope the camera was recording, because this is my second time making this video, and I don't know how long it's gonna be. But now if you dive into edit mode, we still have this, so we can just grab it and do whatever. So we're just gonna apply the modifier. So in edit mode, or not in edit, you can't do it in edit mode. So this drop down in the modifier tab, apply, and now we can grab individual sides, and it's gonna be all right. So this was it for this tutorial. I really hope the camera was working, because I've been working so hard for this tutorial. I'll see you in the next tutorial series or the part, and yeah, I hope you subscribe, because I really work hard for these videos. This took me like 5 days to prepare and all that. So yeah, it would really make my day if you would subscribe. And with that being said, I am CJ Verse. I'm out.